Hello and welcome. I'm Damon Bruce here with you as we get ready for a little NBA action on 2K Sports. Thursday hoops. It's going to be Russell Westbrook in the Oklahoma.
Durant, Ibaka, and Perkins compose the front court. Westbrook and Cephalosha in the backcourt. And for the Spurs, Jefferson and McDyess make up the forwards. Parker and Manu are the backcourt. And it's Duncan in at the center position.
Well, Oklahoma City is a team that has gotten better and better the last few years, and they continue to get better against the Western Conference, too. A 5-game improvement in their record versus the West a year ago from the season before.
And it's going to be the Spurs off the tip. Parker kicks to McDyess. Ibaka on him. McDyess dishes to Jefferson. Kicks it to McDyess. Stolen by Durant. And it's the Thunder with the ball. Puts up the baby hook. And yes, sir, that one drops. Westbrook's got the game going with his first points of the game for the Thunder. And the Thunder tougher against the West. We talked about that 5-game improvement. But they match up well, it seems, Clark, with just about anybody in the Western Conference. And I'll even throw the East in there, too.
Yeah, no question. I mean, I like this team's versatility. When you look at the Thunder, they've got a lot of things. I mean, they've got size, strength, athleticism. And you need those ingredients if you're going to be a contender. And you have to be able to win different ways. And Oklahoma City are the kind of team that's growing into that. A well-rounded roster. They're young, so as they get more seasoning, they're going to be a really difficult team to handle for a long time.
Splitters checked in for Antonio McDyess. James Harden, he's checked in for the Thunder. Here's Parker.
And, you know, one of the reasons Oklahoma City traded for Kendrick Perkins last season was it allowed them to slide Serge Ibaka to the starting power forward role. And he's ready. A long, athletic defender at 6'10". He's a really good player.
It's Jefferson outside. Serge Ibaka with the rebound. And here are the Thunder now. Doris Burke has an update for us. Doris?
Kevin, Greg Popovich and I got a chance to talk for a bit. They'll be up against a very smart team on the offensive end, and he knows they'll have to be on top of their game to keep up with them on that end of the floor. Coach said that he emphasized communication on defense, as they'll need to be on the same page to get the stops necessary. Guys, let's see if they can do it. Thanks,
Doris. So keeping the opposing shooters in check, guys. They're making that a very high priority right now.
Easier said than done, though. I mean, they've got a lot of sharpshooters and guys that can fill it up.
Yeah, the big thing is you want to challenge every shot. I mean, you just can't give these guys airspace because they'll make you pay.
Speaking of Serge Ibaka, he picked up the game late in life, and he's still developing his awareness, certainly on offense.
Yeah, I think you'd have to call him a raw prospect offensively. And that being said, Kevin, he's got pretty good form on that jump shot, and it does go in. So he's got a nice foundation to build on.
Now Westbrook. Ginobili missing from long range. Here's Harden. That's good, and so Westbrook comes up with the assist. Harden's got his first bucket of the night. Spurs trail by 5. Guys, a potent offense right now.
Yeah, Kevin, really the offense is flowing quite nicely right now.
Playing with a lot of confidence, just some self-assurance there. I like what we're seeing.
Now here's Jefferson. Back to Ginobili. Clock at 6. Passes to Jefferson. Fires from deep. That's good. Jefferson's got 5 points so far.
Now, you guys know the 3-ball is his bread and butter. Well, such a disciplined team, the Spurs, and you know the core of their defensive plan is to force contested jump shots. No layups, no free throws. They just want teams to have to shoot from the outside.
Here's Westbrook. And then Durant with the jam.
Old school, old-fashioned, one-hand power jam.
Just like you, Clark, tried and true.
That's all he needed to do, just taking care of business out there.
And San Antonio calls the first timeout of the game. You talk about the Spurs forcing contested shots, Steve, from outside. One key, Clark, they didn't foul.
Yeah, and that's one of the keys to being able to, one, play effective defense, but also to be able to get into transition, because when you're not fouling, the rhythm and pace of the game has a way of finding its own level, and the Spurs very good at that. They challenge shots without fouling, but it also allowed them to be able to play this up-tempo game they wanted to play, too.
One of the great stories is last offseason, Popovich got his staff together. They took a lot of views of their own play from the year before. They looked at a lot of European tape, and they just thought, we got to play more of a European style. They didn't want the game to stop. Like you said, they want the game to continue to go and get in that rhythm.
Yeah, exactly. Big part of their success.
Different look for San Antonio. DeJuan Blair, he's checked in for Splitter. McDyess comes in for Richard Jefferson. And Gary Neal subbed in for Manu Ginobili. Nick Collison's checked in for the Thunder. Cephalosha comes in for Serge Ibaka. Here's Parker, looking for his first bucket of the game. Duncan outside. He goes up on the money.
Creating that kind of shot in close is really your primary objective every possession.
The Thunder with the lead. Outside Westbrook. Shot from the wing. And again, Kevin Durant. Durant's got his third basket of the night right there. Here's Parker. There's 49 seconds left here in the first quarter. Westbrook picks him up. Parker kicks to Duncan. Here's Blair, and Durant sends it back. The Thunder leading by 4. Here's Cephalosha. Parker outside. Now the pass to Duncan. 7-second difference, shot and game clock. Shot clock at 5. Defended by Durant. And again, Tim Duncan. Duncan's got his second basket. 6 seconds left in the first. Open look, and he knocks down the jumper. The scoring fast and furious as we end the first quarter. It's the Thunder. They lead by 4.
Solid first quarter for this club. They came out strong, and they've put together some nice momentum here.
Steve, I like the looks they've gotten on offense. A lot of good ones.
More great action when we return. And now the second quarter just getting set to start. Here's Maynard.
Well, you look at last season, guys, the Spurs had the best record in the Western Conference. Almost unbeatable at home, where they were 36-5.
So with Duncan sitting on the bench, here's how the floor looks for Greg Popovich. Manu and Jefferson on the wings. Blair is out there with McDyess, and it's Neal in at the point. Shot clock at 3. Here's Maynard, and Oklahoma City again with the bucket. Stevie, talk about this San Antonio crowd, one of the most terrific fan bases of any sports franchise. They're just so much in love with everything this franchise does.
Yeah, really, when you think about it, those fans, I mean, the Spurs are their pride and joy. I mean, they're enthusiastic, knowledgeable. And the most successful small market team in the league is San Antonio. So the bond between the team and the community is really something special. It's neat to see.
And Clark, I said any sport, and I do believe that. I mean, like you talk Green Bay fans or New York Giant fans, and I mean, you're talking about a bond. That's a great word to use, bond. There is a bond between the team and the fans.
Yeah, big time connection.
Now let's send it to Doris from the sideline.
Well, guys, Manu Ginobili out of Argentina, one of the great shooting guards in this league, and he does it all. Defense, rebounding, scoring, passing, you name it. Greg Popovich said he has a willingness to do what it takes to win, and to do it at the highest possible level of intensity every single minute he steps on the court. And fellas, the Spurs have always been judicious with his minutes. His tremendous effort level when he's on the court, a big reason why.
Yeah, with his hard-charging style of play, it makes sense. Thanks, Doris.
You know, fellas, this Oklahoma City team is built the right way. I mean, it's been done with patience. through the draft. I mean, you've got to have some good fortune there when you're talking about the draft. The money's been spent wisely, and now I think they're starting to approach the finished product, a team capable of winning NBA titles for years to come. Certainly they'll be contending for them, you would think.
Sure. He misses the free throw. And for the Thunder, they've been a team that has preached defense first. And with the addition of Kendrick Perkins, that certainly adds now to a big, athletic, and physical, tough team up front. And really from top to bottom, Steve.
Yeah, and they've got a nice bench, too, Kevin. There's not a whole lot lacking on this roster. But what they have to do is improve from within. Last year, I thought they were exposed in the playoffs. They didn't get great shots. They didn't look fluid offensively. Those are areas that they can improve upon. You know, it's interesting with the Spurs how good they've been. They just don't get a lot of attention. Their games don't always draw in big TV ratings, but year after year, they seem to just fly under the radar.
Parker passes to Duncan. Reverses, and he races to the bucket for two. Duncan's got 6.
Yeah, not just an everyday finish. He put a little pizzazz on that one, guys.
So, Clark, when you look at the Spurs, why is it, do you think, that they haven't captured the imagination of some fans?
Well, I mean, most casual fans and even some of the more ardent, rabid fans are more intrigued and excited by much more flack. And
I'm talking nationally, not locally, but nationally.
Oh, yeah, exactly right. So that's what I'm saying, that those folks tend to get hung up and enamored with the highlights and the real high-profile type stars. And quite honestly, it just doesn't sell as much across the country. But for those of us who enjoy basketball, know basketball, appreciate all the work that goes into it, they are a model franchise and one of the outstanding sports franchises in all the sports, in my opinion.
Well said. Here's Maynard, following the score by Tony Parker. Ibaka, no luck.
Boy, he had a good look at that one. You hate to miss that shot.
Parker with it. He dishes it to Splitter. The layup off target. The Thunder leading by 6. Durant just inside the line. The basket good off the assist from Maynard. Maynard's got 3 assists now in this one. And so here is San Antonio, trailing here by 8. San Antonio calls timeout.
Look, I mean, the Thunder 2 seasons ago managed to give the Lakers a run for their money in the first round, but in this last season's playoffs, they put the league on notice that their sights were and are much higher.
And some changes here for the Spurs. Dewan Blair, he's checked in for Splitter. McDyess comes in for Richard Jefferson. And it's Ginobili in for Gary Neal. Then for the Thunder, Kendrick Perkins, he's checked in for Ibaka. Collison comes in for Daquan Cook. And Russell Westbrook is subbed in for Eric Maynard. 1:16 left in the first half of basketball. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here. And I think, Clark, around the league, the Thunder have been held up as the example of how you build a contender from the ground up. They certainly, Steve, lived up to that praise, I thought, this past season.
Yeah, they really seem to have all the pieces that a team needs to contend for a championship. A star player in Kevin Durant, great point guard, and Russell Westbrook. They've got complementary pieces as well. And now it's just a matter of letting this team grow and move forward together. Well, you look at Tim Duncan, such a great leader. Not an in-your-face vocal guy, but very quiet, confident, and a guy whose teammates really respect.
And Duncan drops them both.
And, Steve, you used to be one of his teammates, so you know firsthand what Tim Duncan means as far as leadership goes. I mean, he's never put himself above the team. He always allows himself to be coached, which is really important for the team's best player. And that sets the tone for everybody else.
Now here's Westbrook. 5 on the clock. And so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot 2.
Russell Westbrook has proven to be one of the best point guards in the NBA. Not just his scoring, but his ability to push the ball in transition. And he's a good leader for his teammates as well.
And the first one at the line is good. Clark, what you said about leadership in Westbrook, that is a must-have quality to possess as a point guard in the NBA.
And, Kevin, if you're going to lead a team into battle, especially the Western Conference, you need a battle-tested guard, and the Thunder have that in Westbrook, and he's continuing to grow. We forget how young this guy is. I mean, he's got a lot of room to grow, and I'm excited to see what he becomes as he matures because he's already got a lot in that backpack.
Well, there are a few players you talk about as enthusiastic as you talk about Westbrook.
I loved him from the first time I saw him in a practice at UCLA, Kevin. He was a freshman. He was going up against Darren Collison, and he was aggressive. He didn't back away. You could tell the edges were a little rough, but you always would rather have rough edges that can be smoothed out than no edges at all. And he's got tremendous ability. I love watching him work.
It's stolen by Duncan. It's 2-on-1. Parker against Westbrook. Parker outside. Westbrook picks him up. Westbrook with the steal.
Well, he's showing off his defensive instincts by making plays just like that.
And that steal really triggered the fast break. Nice play.
Hey, you're right, and the break itself may have been even better.
And so we conclude the first half. Thunder lead by 8.
And it's been a great basketball game going on in San Antonio. Now it's time for HP at the half. Oklahoma City up on top against San Antonio. They've been phenomenal offensively, scoring effortlessly. We've watched Kevin Durant doing pretty much whatever he wants against the Spurs. No secret he can carry the team with his offense. And on the other side, San Antonio just keeps scrapping. They've been making smart passes, protecting their possessions. Fundamental basketball is a beautiful thing to watch. Tim Duncan leads the team in scoring. And, of course, Richard Jefferson also making his presence felt. And here's tonight's scoring leaders, both hoping to keep it going in the second half. That's it for us here in the studio. We thank you for joining. Now, we'll send you back to the second half action.
And the second half about to start here in just a few moments. Here's Westbrook. 8-point game.
Well, Oklahoma City has been gradually improving over the last few seasons, and one of the things they've done better at is winning on the road. Last year, 25-16, one of the very best marks in the NBA.
So for Oklahoma City right now, Durant, Ibaka, and Perkins compose the front court. Westbrook and Cephalosha in the backcourt.
His presence in the paint gives their offense such a valuable dimension.
And for the Thunder, that continued improvement on the road, and Steve, you just said 25-16. Clark, one of the signals of their growth into a legitimate contender.
Well, Kevin, they've got a lot of the things you need to have to win on the road. They rebound the basketball. They're a good free throw shooting team. They've got the best scorer in the league, one of the best scorers in the league, in Kevin Durant. And they can put the ball in the basket as a team. Again, I really think you've got to be able to score when you go on the road. Offensively, you've got to be able to put pressure on the home team's defense, and Oklahoma City has that capability.
And Doris Burke has a report for us from the sideline.
Hey, Kevin. Well, Greg Popovich has talked often about where he would be without the likes of Tim Duncan. He said that having a superstar that's willing to be coached makes all the difference in the world. And he knows a lot of his success is based on Tim Duncan saying, I would be coaching a third-grade team somewhere in America. Not sure that's true, guys, but it's nice to see a coach with 4 rings stay that humble. Back to you.
Thank you, Doris. I would say Coach Popovich sold himself a little bit short. He's a very humble guy. And very well respected.
He sure is. And he knows how much Duncan does out there, but we all know what a great coach Pop is.
Well, a disappointing playoff performance last season for San Antonio. Of the big 3, Manu Ginobili was the only one who managed to play well against the Grizzlies.
Timeout is called. First of the game for the Thunder. Going back to Ginobili, he played well in the playoffs despite that hyperextended elbow. Steve, you remember that huge brace he wore?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't get as much attention as what Rajon Rondo went through with his elbow injury, but Ginobili showing every bit as much of toughness as Rondo. I mean, that was impressive, and he was going at Tony Allen and vice versa in that series. A very, very physical confrontation between those two.
Here is Durant. 14 points for him. Westbrook kicks to Durant from downtown, and that comes off the assist by Russell Westbrook. Westbrook's got his third assist on the night. And a foul on the shot. He'll go to the stripe for 2.
And I think one of the reasons the Spurs had such a great season a year ago is that Manu Ginobili was ready right out of the gates. He exploded and helped the Spurs off to that incredibly hot start.
And Steve, Manu Ginobili stayed healthy almost all the regular season. Started to leave behind his ankle issues, which Clark had really cost him, I think, some valuable time earlier in his career.
It really did, and even after a hyperextended elbow that cost him a game in the playoffs, he was the best Spur in that first-round series against the Grizzlies. So, in all, I think a pretty healthy season for Manu. Boy, it really had to be deflating for the Spurs after winning 61 games in the regular season to be bounced out of the playoffs by the Grizzlies in the first round. It raised some interesting and difficult questions for them moving forward. A nice start to the second half, just one miss in their first 5 attempts.
Spurs trail by 13. Time called here. The Spurs decide to talk it over.
He's definitely rolling offensively. You might not be able to stop him, but you've got to find a way to contain him.
Tawan Blair, he's checked in for the Spurs. Here's Ginobili. He kicks it to Parker. He's covered by Westbrook. 6 on the shot clock. Ginobili outside. One deep. Can't hit. So Oklahoma City will take it the other way. Deflected. It's stolen by Jefferson. Clark, this offense has really been clicking.
No doubt about it, giving the defense all kinds of trouble.
And they're playing with so much energy offensively. The ball is really moving.
Here's Westbrook. He's got 10. 1:56 left to play in the third.
One thing about Pop is that he can be hard on his own players, but he gets their respect because he's equally hard on all of his players. I mean, you could be the 12th man on the bench or Tim Duncan. If you mess up, he's going to let you know about it.
Now here's Westbrook. From 11 feet away. Good. Westbrook's got 12.
Boy, this is scary. You get a score rolling like this, you're in some trouble.
Yeah, you can't leave a guy like that on an island. I mean, you got to bring some help.
Well, don't you think, Steve, this is something that all coaches can mimic of Pop, the way he is hard on player 1 through 12 and certainly has his favorites and guys he's had around, but I think he treats them all like men. I think they appreciate that. His lines of communication are amongst the best in the NBA.
Yeah, he's got a great sense of humor. He can be very pointed and serious, but also very funny. And he knows when to be light and when to be really hard on his players. And so I think they have a good understanding that he cares about them and they want to be coached and they really accept whatever he brings on that day.
And here are the Thunder now after the made shot from Manu Ginobili.
And the reason Kevin Durant is so difficult to guard, he's about 6'10", and about a 7'5" wingspan, and shoots the ball right over the top of defenders.
The first free throw is good. You talk about Durant's length and shooting ability. For most defenders, you're just not going to get that shot.
Not when a shooter like him has pretty much free reign to shoot anytime he wants to and over the top of most all defenders. I mean, that's a recipe for video game type numbers.
Looking at who's out there now for the Spurs. Duncan comes in for Antonio McDyess. And Gary Neal subbed in for Tony Parker. Backing down is Jefferson. No luck. Durant with some nice D.
And that rebound pushes their margin to +5 on the board. Solid job on the glass.
Well, it's just part of what they've done here to build this big lead, and it shouldn't be overlooked. I mean, rebounding is a huge part of this game.
And the shot is good. Durant's got 9 points in the quarter.
Guys, that's what he does. I mean, he excelled at getting to the rim.
Here's Ginobili, and that's not going to go. And here at the end of the third quarter, it's a double-digit ball game. What a game we're seeing from Kevin Durant.
Yeah, the points have really come in bunches for him so far, and not really a surprise because you know exactly what he can do.
Well, he's been in the groove all game long, Steve, and not too many hiccups in regards to his shooting, but we also have come to expect this from him, so we're not surprised by it.
Live from the AT&T Center in San Antonio, you're watching 2K Sports. Fourth quarter getting going here. It's time for our Sprite Spark of the Game report. Let's go to Doris Burke.
Thanks, Kevin. The Sprite Spark Award goes to Kevin Durant. He's left his imprint all over this game with his hustle and effort on both ends of the floor. You'd have to wonder where they'd be without this performance tonight, guys.
Thank you, Doris. Clark, he has meant a bunch to this team.
Well, basically, Kevin, he's carried them pretty much the whole game.
Well, they've had 3 quarters to come up with an answer for him defensively, but they haven't been able to figure out anything.
So with Ginobili sitting on the bench, here's how the floor looks for Greg Popovich. Gary Neal is out there with Splitter. Then it's Duncan. Then it's Matt Bonner. And it's McDyess in at the 3 slot. Here's McDyess. The Spurs need to get a shot off here. Splitter misses.
It seems like he tightens up, guys, when he gets close to the rim, especially with a defender nearby.
Outside Collison. Good luck. And Westbrook gets it to go on the assist by Harden. Westbrook's got the first basket as we get going in the fourth for the Thunder. Now McDyess. Here is Bonner. Launches it, and that one's good.
Little slow on the defensive rotation there.
So here's Westbrook. Time called here. The Thunder decide to talk it over.
I think Coach saw a couple of things he wanted to correct. You got to make sure everyone's following the game plan.
Let's catch up with Doris from the sideline.
Over the last break, Kevin, I got a chance to hear what Scott Brooks said to his team. He sounded incredibly confident given the situation they're in. He said, all right, I hope they're not counting us out yet because we are going to win this game. Guys, we'll see if his players believe him.
Great. Thanks for the report, Doris. Here's Maynard. He passes it to Cook. Jefferson picks him up. Parked down low that time, and he got the 3-second call. Spurs trail by 14. And here is Parker. Backing him down is Duncan. Over Collison. No good.
They have a nice lead here, and have really controlled the glass for the majority of the game. Kudos to them for their strong effort on the backboard.
Yeah, and they're sending a message, too, Clark. They're really coming out and playing a very physical game here.
Beyond the arc. Tim Duncan with the rebound. On offense, here are the Spurs. A great fourth quarter, just giving up 2 points. Another shot, and he gets the jumper to drop.
He's been producing all night. It's up to the rest of his team to start kicking in a little bit.
The Thunder leading by 12. Now Maynard. Outside Collison. Covered by Duncan. And lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot 2. Tim Duncan picks one up.
And, you know, the Spurs decided prior to the last season that their best chance to be successful was to go up-tempo. They knew they didn't have the inside play that they did in past years, so they played a very fast pace and used their three-point shooting to their advantage.
First free throw is good. We talk about the Spurs game planning for the Lakers, Steve. I guess you want to spread the floor against that big front line of Los Angeles, and, of course, a major quickness advantage at the point guard for San Antonio.
Well, you try to play to your strengths, Kevin, and basically Tony Parker looked to attack in transition. I mean, even when the numbers were against him, he's so good at putting defenses on their heels. The other players ran to the three-point line, and if Parker got bottled up, he had a kick out. If the ball wasn't stopped, he slithered his way to the basket.
Spurs trail by 13. Now here's Parker. It's Ginobili outside. Offensive rebound. A second chance effort. And here we go with Russell Westbrook. And slam dunk. Wow! Now the Sprite slam cam for the replay.
Now that's just rubbing it in, fellas.
Throwing it down with style.
These folks are not going to forget that one anytime soon.
Now here's Ginobili. San Antonio calls timeout. A different look for San Antonio. Antonio McDyess is checked in for Blair. And Gary Neal subbed in for Daniel Green. And a new group in here for the Thunder. Here's Neal. Robinson picks him up. Parker with it. Just 5 on the clock. The jumper from the free throw line is good.
He is truly a special offensive talent, and he's always going to cash in on those kind of chances.
Here is Robinson. It's stolen.
Excellent anticipation. As soon as that pass was in the air, he was on the move and picked it off.
Swiped away. And here we go. Rebounded by the Spurs. Duncan's got his 4th rebound in this one. Baseline J on the way. Shot's good by Neal.
Well, that was like a warm-up shot there, a warm-up jumper. No problem converting that one.
Well, Clark, they can burn some clock if they want to.
Yeah, and maybe buy a little oxygen while they're doing it.
Dishes it to Cook. Left side, Collison. 6 to shoot. And again, no good by Oklahoma City.
Boy, surprised to see that one stay out.
Me too, Steve. I mean, those are ones that usually go down for sure.
And that one's good. Duncan.
He's done a ton to help his team, guys, and he may have to do more if they're going to come back and win.
Now a timeout called by Oklahoma City. They're in front by 9. 41 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And the Thunder going with the whole new group out there. Here's Westbrook. He's picked up by Parker. Here's Durant. High quality look, and he sinks it. And the Thunder lead by 11.
And that's going to do it. I mean, this thing is pretty much over. They played well.
Well, it has been a bit anticlimactic the end of the game, but sometimes that's the way it goes.
Shots good by Neal.
He might not get a better look than that all game. You have to get closer to him. He's not going to bite you. Get up in him.
And they can just dribble the ball until the buzzer.
Yeah, exactly. They got to be happy with the outcome here.
Elated, you're right. And here's Westbrook. He's picked up by Parker. Shot clock at 6. Westbrook kicks to Durant. Over Ginobili. Bucket's good. So no problem for Oklahoma City as they get the win. Some days, Clark, everything goes right for a team, and they just had one of those games.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, these guys played a great all-around basketball game here.
Well, that'll do it. For Doris Burke, Steve Kerr, and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan saying so long. We'll see you next time. And as we leave, we give you our Jordan Player of the Game, Kevin Durant.